So is your summer squash having a bumper crop and you can't eat it fast enough? You know, yellow squash is a wonderful vegetable to freeze for winter eating. So in 4 easy steps, you can have summer squash to eat all winter long. Hello, my name's Lynn Gillespie, and I own and operate 11,000 square feet of outdoor organic gardens and 9,000 square foot of indoor gardens. And we preserve tons and tons of vegetables. And so today I'm going to share with you how I preserve my summer squash so that I can eat it all winter long. Okay, so we're going to get started. Step one is to make sure that you have a pot of boiling water. So you want to start your water first. Mine is pretty much there. We're to boiling. So you want to do that because we are going to blanch the squash. Next thing you want to do is have your washed squash, and we're going to cut it into chunks. And the way that I like to cut it, so I just take the ends off. I'm going to slice it down the center and then slice that again. So it's like coining, but they're in quarters. So maybe we're quartering instead of coining, I don't know. And I cut those to where they're 1/4 inch or less thick. And what I have found is that when we're blanching, this gives it a nice, fairly uniform size for us to cook. So you want that to cook all the way through. The reason that we want to blanch this stuff is we want to stop the enzymes. The enzymes will continue to ripen the squash even if it's in the freezer. And that's what makes them so weird when they come out of the freezer, 6 months later. So if you just chop this and bag it, you're going to have some really weird stuff. It'd be mushy and I don't know, it just comes out weird. So what we like to do is go ahead and blanch it. So we're going to chop this to uniform size, and then we're going to drop that in the boiling water, and we want to cook it until it turns translucent. And when it's translucent, then we want to pull it out. So it's going to be in the boiling water. And so you put it in until the water reboils, and then you're going to boil it for about a minute, and then we're going to pull that out. So let's go ahead and get some of this into the boiling water. And you can do as many batches as you want. You just need to reboil between batches so that all the squash gets cooked to the same amount. So you got to cook it long enough that you can get those enzymes killed off. Okay, so we're going to put that in. Like I say, put in as much as you want. I like to do a pretty big batch. I use this, I found out that this strainer works really good. I use it as a spoon, but it works really good. All right, so we're going to let that boil up. It'll take probably 5 or 6 minutes for it to reboil. We can turn that up. And then we want to boil it for 1 minute once the water is boiling again. Okay. Alrighty, we have steam. We got it boiling, so I want to set my timer for 1 minute, and we're going to let that boil for a minute. Now I do want to keep an eye on it so it doesn't boil over, because that can happen. And if you guys are interested in getting our Preserving Fruits and Vegetables guide, we show how to dehydrate, can, freeze, or root cellar 25 different fruits or vegetables. You can grab that at thelivingfarm.org/high-performance-garden-show. Once you get to that page, you want to scroll down a little bit, and you can get to the sponsor section. And if you sponsor the show, then you can get the Fruits and Vegetables ebook, and there's also 2 other ebooks you can get. So you might want to check that out. All right, timer went off. So we are going to take these out. I'm going to turn this down to low. And this is why I love this little screen, little strainer for my scooper. Look at that. It's so fast that way, and it's easy to catch the squash. So if you look at the squash, it's kind of a translucent, got a little bit of a cooked look to it. And that's what we're looking for. That stops those enzymes and gets us to where we can preserve this without it getting kind of funky on us. I know it doesn't get really bad, but it just gets weird. It's not a flavor that you like to eat. I'll put it that way. Okay. All right, so then that comes over here and goes into the sink that's full of cold water. Ooh, that's hot. I can use our strainer for stirring that too, so we just want to get that cooled down. And then if you can drain it, or you can catch your squash if you want to use that water bath again. So we're just going to drain that off. Yeah, it cools down. That's what you want. Cool to the touch. That stops the cooking action. Okay, so once we have these this way, then we want to get, you want a freezer bag or a freezer container, depending on how you want to pack these. I like these little 6x6 bags. And you're just going to load that squash in there. I don't put any salt or any spices or nothing with it. It's just squash. And I like to pack these pretty full. Okay, then I zip that shut and then I push out as much air as I can. You could also vacuum seal these as well. And there's my squash. Usually I flatten them out. I write on the top up here what it is and the year, so that these will last about a year. And so you want to know what year it is, and then I can stack those up in the freezer and they're good to go. We like to eat the summer squash 3 different ways. So we will thaw and drain. So we'll thaw this out, drain the water out because there'll be a little more water. And then we saute this in butter with garlic, and oh my gosh, it is so magical. The other way we do is just, even when it's frozen, we open the bag and we just dump it into vegetable soup. So you can do the juice and the squash into the soup. Or we thaw it out, we drain it, and then we puree this, and then we can make it into a squash soup. So those are the 3 ways that we eat the summer squash. And it's really great having all this summer squash all winter long.